Good afternoon. We are live here at Lee Summit Medical Center, making another virtual house call with Lee Summit Medical Center physical therapist, Kelly Parker. So as states are beginning to reopen, businesses and parks and recreations, different areas of the city are starting to open back up for business, and many are quickly returning to these recreation activities and sports. So as these activities begin to resume, let's talk a little bit about concussions, a fairly common injury when we get back on the playground or get back to intramurals or even sporting events for school that we're starting to talk about. So according to the CDC, approximately 2.5 million people experience a concussion each year. So Kelly, what exactly is a concussion?
So simply put, a concussion is a traumatic brain injury that can change the function of the brain. That can occur during any type of activity that jars the brain or the body, kind of shifting the actual brain, the actual organ inside the skull. So anything from a car accident to a fall to a sport-related injury or anything, a hit to the head can cause a concussion.
So if a child is out playing sports and experiences a hit to the head, what should parents be on the lookout for?
Great question. So obviously every person is different. So the severity of the concussion and the patient demographics is going to change that. But the most common symptoms of a concussion are going to be headache, dizziness, blurred vision, fatigue, those types of things. Those usually occur immediately after the concussion. A lot of times, hours to days after the concussion, there can be other symptoms like irritability, depression, some more stronger nausea, memory deficits, sensitivity to light and sound, and some sleep disturbances.
So at what point should somebody seek care if they think they have experienced a concussion or have some of these symptoms? Should they call their doctor or go to the emergency room right away?
Right. So I think if there's any type of loss of consciousness, any type of really where you're out of it, you're not able to answer questions quickly, you're disoriented, a headache that keeps getting worse, or nausea and vomiting that keeps getting worse, I would go to the emergency department immediately. If your symptoms are mild, or if you really don't have any symptoms, I would avoid any jarring movements, any activities that are going to put you at risk for another concussion. But then I would also follow up with your doctor in a day or two after your potential concussion. The reason it's so important to avoid that second injury is because anytime that there is a concussion or an injury after a concussion before that initial one is healed, then there is a really high risk of your severity of symptoms getting worse. The longevity of your recovery is a lot longer, but also there's something called second impact syndrome that can cause brain dysfunction, or even death from that overswelling of the brain. So it's very scary, very dangerous.
Yes.
Something to keep important.
Yes, absolutely. So if someone is diagnosed with a concussion, what does that treatment plan look like?
Yeah, so everyone's treatment plans are different, depending on kind of what symptoms they have and when their concussion occurred. But I always tell people that if they're having symptoms after 2 weeks, to go ahead and start your treatment. There's no reason to wait longer and longer, because a lot of times that can affect how you recover. The first thing that I always try to focus on, usually on day one, is that rest and recovery program. So what that entails is me teaching you and your family about kind of the program of making sure that you're doing proper brain rest at home, that activities that you should avoid, activities that you should try to stay on task with, just to kind of make sure everyone's on the same page and expectations are there after a concussion. While you're in therapy with me, the biggest things that we kind of do are vestibular therapy. So that's going to be working on your balance, working on your tracking, your visual tracking, making sure we decrease any vertigo, dizziness, balance deficits, but also any type of blurred vision, double vision, things like that. Also, anytime with a concussion, a lot of times people have neck pain, headaches, tension headaches. So we work on that, make sure the spine's moving the way it should, release all the muscle tension, and try to help out with the severity and cause of those headaches. So, and then lastly is making sure that we meet your goal. So whether that be going back to work, going back to your sports you want to go to. But making sure that you can do that and you feel comfortable doing that, and we reduce that risk of re-injury. So it's just kind of the information for concussions is growing every day. So I think it's really important to be educated on what you're at. So there's all sorts of resources out there, but you can always contact me over at the outpatient clinic with Lee Summit Medical Center. You can call or email me with any questions you have, and I'm there to answer.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for the great advice, Kelly.
Thank you.
And for more information about Lee Summit Medical Center's post-concussion program, you can visit leesummitmedicalcenter.com.